Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now, before we turn over from October to November, happy Halloween, by the way, if you're watching this when it comes out. We must, as always, do our monthly Q&A. You know the deal, Riddler goes up. It was a festive Riddler this time, too, holding a pumpkin, no less. You guys drop questions, and we just go through them the order they came in on. Of course, we do go long here, so chapters tool down below. We're talking about everything from cashback cards, of course. We're talking about will the Lions win the Super Bowl, and what would happen if the credit card issuers came after me like they did the OG of the game? Ask Sebi, all that and more. So, of course, it sounds interesting to you. Go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, DJ batting leadoff here. He says, as interest rates drop and the economy seems to be getting worse, do you expect the banks to offer better and better checking and savings account bonuses? Also, the banks loosen their check system standards. He's gotten approved by a few banks who denied him in the past. So, I mean, I would think the economy will all seem kind of like a layout approach, wait and see, because it's bad for some people. Other people, it's perfectly fine, right? But, yeah, generally, if the economy is getting worse, I think you generally pull back a little bit on lending products because, again, there's no context on an application. So, well, yeah, I can generally tell that you're probably a churner or not, or you actually need the credit, I don't know. So it's easier just to pull back on lending maybe. And so the counter to that is to focus on deposit accounts. So my guess would be they kind of take a wait and see approach. We see a lot of that. Like, let's see how this plays out. There seems to be a lot of uncertainty, tariffs, shutdowns, that whole thing. So I think initially they'll kind of lay out and see. And then if it progresses into Q1, Q2 of next year, yeah, we definitely could, especially if they're still looking for ways to grow consumer retail accounts. I think you could definitely see that increased. I don't know if we'll see like anything massive, but a lot of banks have like their small, medium, large offers. So we could see maybe going back to some of their larger offers, especially if I'm shifting the marketing spend from lending over here to deposit accounts. That could definitely happen as well. As far as check systems, I don't think there'll be major changes to it. They could, but I don't think they will, because it's generally two different departments. It's like, risk management over here, who doesn't want to let anyone in, and of course sales and marketing, who just wants sales and leads, right? And you normally see checks being a problem, at least for me, at the mid-sized regionals and credit unions who are already usually fairly risk adverse. Citi, I think, pulls checks, but they have yet to deny me, knock on wood. Bank of America, I think, does do early warning systems, but I don't think so, because I don't think we're a big enough customer. I think we're an expensive customer base, but not a big enough customer base that they like, oh no, I'm excluding so many people, right? Like, I don't know if there's enough upside to let me take on potentially that much risk to bring in a few people who I by now know will be gone in 90 to 120 days. So I don't think you could see some, and it does happen. Like, I'm convinced, Chase, for example, on lending relaxes their standards, when they're really trying to push the ink card. So it could definitely happen, but I think those two departments are usually in conflict, and I still just don't think there's enough upside for them to totally relax it. They could go back and refine it more, but that's always been an option, to go back and refine it, and I don't think they have yet. Maybe we see more of like, hey, you're an existing customer, so come on in, like that generally helps, but yeah, I don't think we'll get that lucky. But glad it's been working for you, man, because it hasn't for me. Curmudgeon next up. Now that the Feds have lifted the asset cap on Wells Fargo, what do you expect to see moving forward in their banking and credit products? This is their chance to move out of the shadows. So yeah, the Feds, they removed the asset cap, which is like just under $2 trillion in like the spring or summer from Wells Fargo. That was a holdover punishment from all the fake account scandal and all that from, I don't know, a few years back. It's been a while now, actually. So they removed that. And if you don't know, like, you're putting an asset cap means you as a bank, you can only hold so many assets, so much in assets. And that's really how you limit how big a bank can get. It really limits it. You can't exactly go out. And so, for example, when SVB and First Republic, failed, Wells Fargo would not really be a contender, because that could take them over their asset cap, is where Chase can say, hey, I want to buy both of these. I think they ended up getting First Republic, not SVB. just as an example, which also means you can only buy so many assets, hold so many assets, that whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think if I'm those guys, if I'm their CEO, which I believe was an old Chase guy, I've spent my time cleaning up the sheet. Now I'm balance sheet. Now I'm ready to go, cleaning up our image. Look, our memory is short here. I know there's people who will never do business with Wells Fargo. I've personally never had a problem with them. I would get why you don't, but they're still the fourth largest bank, so that's shown me that no one really cares, or not enough people really care, honestly. So yeah, I think they're fine. People will forget, and they should be ready to be aggressive. And I'm sure they're sitting on some type of growth plan. Now, a real answer is probably they'd be much more focused at the top of end movers, like maybe acquisitions, maybe getting back into like the IPO space. You see Chase a lot doing, helping out, fintechs with IPOs, and that's why a big part of why they ended up making the push to San Francisco and like Golden State play in the Chase arena or something like that, for example. So that's probably where they really lean, the big movers, needle movers. But because this is a credit card and deposit account show, yeah, they definitely could. Do I really think that the Wells Fargo rumored flagship card, whatever their top end card ends up being, has been held back because of this? Probably not, but we know there's still more room in cards for them to expand, namely like a flagship with an annual fee, higher annual fee. Definitely, we have seen them do higher bank promotions. The checking account is now about $400, and normally is about $300. They did bring back a business checking bonus as well. So yeah, I think they could definitely be ready to, like, hey, we've sat on the sidelines long enough. I think they used to be the third bank behind Bank of America, so they moved to four, and it's really the top four, which are your too big to fails of like Chase, Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo. So I probably want to get back in the mix, and so hopefully they have some new products up their sleeve. Again, I still think someone should do like a preferred rewards type thing. But, I think US Bank ruined that. We won't see any more. So I don't think it'll be that competitive. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's their time. They're ready to go. So I hope so. So T. Lewis here. Ask Sebi has changed a lot of his content from mentioning to not mentioning credit card companies by name. The big blue bank, is what he says. Due to pressure from those companies, do you see yourself doing the same to protect yourself? It's a really good question. I thought about it, and the short answer is no. But so what happened was, I don't know. I didn't talk to him. I don't know him like that. But for whatever reason, the big banks, they've all slowly gotten mad at him for saying the names. And I know he's mentioned different rules or restrictions of, hey, we don't want to be mentioned with these guys, or just don't say our name. It just says the big blue bank, and it's always dumb because we know exactly what you're talking about. And I think they destroyed most of his back catalog too. And I thought it had something to do with him being a part of the affiliate programs, or him and Mandy run an affiliate program, like the Cardonomics is like their program. And I'm a part of it to an extent, but I basically have no more affiliate links except for Capital One. And that is more so to do with just the issuer saying, hey, you don't sell enough cards, so we're not going to waste our time auditing you and enforcing compliance, which is totally fair. I thought that's the big reason, but other people are still in those affiliate programs, and it hasn't happened to them. So to protect himself going forward, he's got like new disclosures and, with various rules. I think he will say the names now, but he doesn't show pictures. So I did update my disclosure at the bottom that I got from him originally to copy what his new one says. But to answer your question, no, I have thought about it, because I do use their pictures, and I use like all their commercials as B-roll and stuff. And the main reason I came to is because if they actually came after me, like, I don't think I'd protest or fight or anything. Like, I wouldn't, like, if it's like court related, you don't want to ignore it. But like, I'm not gonna win. I'm not even gonna try to win or defend myself. Just send me a list of the videos you want taken down and what your requirements are. And it might be a weird answer, but like, realistically, I don't make enough money to fight people, and it's not really a complaint. So the last YouTube check, which is both channels and the channel membership, was like a tick over $1,000. It can be anywhere from like $1,000 to $1,200, $1,300. It's like $1,500, maybe around Christmas time when folks are running more expensive ads. And that's fine, because like, how much money should you really get paid to just bump your gums about something the Doctor of Credit wrote 2 days ago, right? So it's not really a complaint, but all that to say, like, you'd spend way more money defending yourself on something that's maybe like 15 grand a year. That 15 grand a year is very nice, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't really be worth it. So like, just tell me your rules, and I'll change it. Like, that's fine. Not overly a big deal. Or just, hey, bag it in and be done. Honestly, the main thing we make money here is the second channel on the referrals for the deposit accounts. I think right now I'm at like 13 or 14 grand a year in referrals. So you can see that combined is, quite a bit of money. So yeah, I've thought about it. I just think it's silly to sit there and say, well, the blue bank this and the red bank that. So if they come for me, they definitely could. I don't think it'll happen because I'm not really part of any of those affiliate programs. I've also gone so far as to take out the affiliate links, like to click on Cardonomics to go here for mine. Not anything to do with Cardonomics, they're just following the rules, but every so often a change will come down and say, hey, you can't have, chase cards in with this video, I'm making this up. And so I got tired of like every so often the issuers wanted to change something, you to go back and remove all those links. So I just took them all out because again, I don't sell cards anyways. I don't really try to sell cards because we all have the same cards. So, you can make a ton of money, but it's kind of silly. So long answer to your question is a good question. I have thought about it. I just don't really... It's fine, right? Like if you want me to stop saying it, you can just tell me. That would be my last thing I'll say. My last hope would be like, hey, can we just talk about this like a reasonable person, and I'll just take them down. That's fine. But yeah, for $1,000 a month, it's about 10 hours a week doing this. So I wouldn't say it's a complaint. But yeah, I think I would just go that route. So I've decided to not do anything, and we'll see what happens. If nothing else, I'll get a good video about it. But good question. Kari B dude here. Do you know if the regular City Strata, the white one, is a World Elite? I don't believe it's a World Elite. I think it's just a regular Master. But they always use the World Elite logo, which is annoying. But I think it's just a regular MasterCard. I think the Strata Premier is a World Elite, and the Strata Elite is World Legend. I think that was just a regular World. I want to say. What is the best $95 annual fee mid-tier card from best to worst in your opinion, with and without supporting cast ecosystems, trifectas? Capital One Venture, Sapphire Preferred, City Strata Premier, Wells Fargo Autograph Journey on this. No Wells Fargo Autograph Journey because he knows I like that one. All right, so the Venture is dead last. That card sucks. I don't know why it's $95. Silliest thing, needs to be refreshed. Strata Premier is first. Sapphire Preferred second. Sapphire Preferred is still the best if you want, it's still a really good card, but they did basically kill the trifecta though, right? Like they definitely said, hey, go away. It still kind of exists, but not like it used to. So City Strata, you get a lot of good multipliers. That hotel credit is usable. You'd like to be a little bit less spend to hit it, but it's still usable. So Strata 1, plus with the A, especially if you like AA now, Strata Premier, double cash, as many custom caches you can get your hands on. I think that works. Sapphire Preferred, even the supporting cast around chase cards is just... They've really been left behind. It doesn't matter because they're the biggest bank, so it's fine, but they've really been left behind compared to City cards. I would honestly say, you said no Wells Fargo. I would still say Wells Fargo is probably the best. In the order of setups, I would still say Wells Fargo and City are the best, then Chase. American Express is still doing its own thing, so I'm still going to put them outside of it, but that's what I would do. But you did limit it to maybe next Q&A, so I'll save it for then. From these three categories, which if you guys are new here, this guy, he saves his questions and asks them in like spurts, which we appreciate. So what do people spend the most and least in? Gas, groceries, and restaurants? I would guess groceries, then restaurants, then gas. It really just depends on what your work situation is like for gas, but I would guess groceries number one. Especially if you've got a family. If it's just you, then restaurants could be number one. But if let's just say like a regular family, it's probably groceries. At least my dad always yelled at me that it was groceries, so I'm going to default to what he used to yell in. And then gas, probably hit or miss. Sure, it costs money, there's gas tax involved, but most of us aren't driving that much relative to, I was going from like 40 minutes there and back to Detroit every week. I wasn't spending what I'd spend on groceries. So that's what I would go with. Would you consider Wells Fargo Autograph a cashback or travel card? Cashback. Because I can't think of a reason why you'd want to go through the Wells Fargo travel portal. I couldn't name a single transfer partner that they have. Well, they have like Choice Hotels, I think. But that's because they have the co-branded card. But that's why I like Wells Fargo so much, because it's travel-related things for someone who likes cash back. So I definitely see the autograph as a cashback card, a really good one too. I just can't think of a scenario where I'd want to use Wells Fargo points for travel. You could, I just don't. And if you wanted a travel portal, I would go elsewhere. World Series champion Blue Jays. So I'm taping this on Saturday, November 25th, and so we'll have some games under our belt by then. But the first game, the Blue Jays crushed them. I'd pull for the Dodgers. Why? I tend to like the big bad team since they're like the new Yankees. I love the Ohtani thing from the fact that we all just conveniently forget like he was gambling. Oh no, wait, it was his interpreter. Okay, sure. So I just like how we don't care about that at all. But we had to root for the American team, right? So I'm gonna go with the Dodgers for no other reason than I think they have the best player and they're pretty dominant right now. And they're the American team. Also, thank you to the people who replied condolences when he announced his mom had passed, when he commented on his video this past October. Yeah, absolutely, man. It sucks to hear, but hey, when the community can come together and just like any little thing can be a bright spot in your day, we're happy to do it. So, like I said before, hang tough, man. Let us know if you need anything. Even if it's just a referral link plugged or another question, definitely appreciate you showing up. He says, safe and blessed Halloween. You as well, sir. Thank you so much for writing in, and maybe next time you'll let me talk more about Wells Fargo. D Green here, channel member. We love to see it. ACH transfers from my Discover account now list Capital One as the bank, so the merger appears to be moving quickly. Yeah, I think it's basically like legal day one, and then it's in effect, but then it takes a while to get everything switched over fully, but yeah, it is in effect. So let's see, do you think Discover It could become a Capital One card in the near future and the cashback earned on it can be pooled, converted to a venture miles like the Saver? Yeah, I do, because Capital One and Discover kind of have like the same sort of issue with their cards if they care that much, and I don't think they've really cared that much. My issue with Capital One has always been it's too easy for their customers to outgrow them. Because there's nearly nothing until the Venture X came along, which, was a good card. But even then, they struggle with approving people. And then Discover really only has Discover It Cash. I know that student one, they have the Miles card, but no one cares. So it would solve a problem to make the ecosystems line up, and why not cross-sell one another because the money's going in the same place. Plus, it does help bolster your Capital One lineup to either be, to your exact point, be a Quicksilver and a Saver, or a Saver and a Venture, or a Venture X. Why not throw in and give you another reason to have 3 cards? It just makes a lot of sense. It's probably not high up on their list right now, things to do, but I think if I'm Capital One, I spend a lot of money, and I also want to get some more out of it because I still think Capital One bought Discover because of the payment network play. So I do think we've started to see the debit card switch. I think all those co-branded cards will eventually switch to the Discover network as well. The travel cards, the Venture and such, will likely remain on Visa because of the benefits of the payment network. Not that Discover couldn't implement those as well, but they already have them. Why really do all that? Unless the payment network thing happens and cards would need 2 different payment networks, then it would make sense. But this just seems like an easy layup. I mean, why leave one all the way over there on its own? Why not bring it in, give people the option? Because you're still not really losing any more money. You're just giving them an incentive to be deeper into your ecosystem. So yes, I do think it could happen. I think that would be the right move for them as well. All right, Matt Kramer here. Given the rejections this year, will you take a cool down period and stop applying for banks and cards? Also, what are some of the larger credit card program changes that stick out this year? I've thought about it. So every year I go into this existential crisis until I have my $10,000 in bank promotions. That's my number. I don't know why, but the existential crisis just lasts until I get 10,000. And I got it. Well, they haven't paid out yet, but I now have enough accounts. And so I thought about just chilling, to your point, just go sit on the bench, give it 3 months, because it was mid-September. And then we got 4 bank promotions out the gate. They were crazy. We had TBK became nationwide all of a sudden for 700. OKX is a crypto one. We had Public, which is a broker one, Per Capita. They're all on profitablecontent.com. If they're still, and we had so many bonuses, and some of them had referral programs. So yeah, I went and applied for all of them, and I kind of subscribed that they would just play hard through the line because one day this game is going to be over, or significantly reduced. So you might as well get everything that you can because we don't know what's going to come next year, right? So I've thought about it, but then we don't really know because we see Huntington's added anti-churning language to theirs. We don't know what people look for at checks. This is the first year Fifth Third denied me in person. Key Bank. The only reason I got Key Bank is I was able to open a business account first. So I kind of subscribe to the theory to answer your question. No, because every year we don't know what's going to happen. Who would have guessed that KeyBank would have ran a business offer? I've never seen one from them. Who would have guessed Wells Fargo would have brought back their business offer? So we see some go and some new ones replaced. So I'm just going to keep playing hard as long as I can. I mean, why not? It's all money in the end. Even when you lose, you still win. You know what I'm saying? So what are some of the larger credit card programs? I mean, the biggest one that sticks out to me is Chase. Honestly, I think they're the only real one who, well, I guess Chase and Citi getting American Airlines finally, big change. I think it gives them a whole nother path of opportunity, path of usefulness. Citi, to me, much like Wells Fargo, was still primarily cash back, even though they did have travel cards. But now with American Airlines and transfer partners, and given how easy it is to earn Citi points, granted, I do think a Citi or an American Airlines about devaluation will happen, you know, once they see how many points are actually coming in. But I think that was a big change. The other one is Chase. That's the biggest one, because Chase basically told their existing customer base, go away, we don't want you anymore. What Chase said when they effectively killed the trifecta is like, hey, look, we spent years telling you about the trifecta. I know we all sit here and act like we're geniuses, but the trifecta was always very obvious. And so they've effectively moved away from those customers so that you can still kind of do the trifecta if you book certain fares through their site, but it's not just open to anything anymore. That's a massive shift. And again, it's very, very obvious to everyone, just even normal people, that the trifecta existed. And they've moved away from that. And I don't know what that's going to do for them. I would presume it's fine because those people, well, they still have no annual fee cards for them. People will probably keep using them. Not everyone's going to shift and move their money. So I think it'll be fine. I guess the other one would be US Bank, for obvious reasons, killing smartly. I mean, it wasn't even a full year for that program, but for them to go push smartly, not even that hard, because I only saw like one or two commercials for it, but I'm also not in their market. And then pull back immediately, a total about face. I mean, that is pretty good. I moved all my money from there. So I imagine they got banged up a little bit, because it's like $100,000 doesn't hurt, but how many times does it take for $100,000 to hurt? So I would imagine they did feel it somewhat, but they knew they had planned for that. So I guess those would be the three: Chase, US Bank, and Citi that have gone through the major change. I don't think I'm missing anyone else. Bilt Rewards change isn't done yet. I wish Bank of America would do something more, but they haven't. Wells Fargo, we'll have to see. So there you go. Thank you, sir. Brady Smith here. Oh, see, he says, what can we wait to see you down in Puerto Rico? Look, man, I came out of my house all the way down to Detroit to come and see you this summer, go to lunch, even offered to pay, let the record show. And we had a good time. Then you come back at me like this. I thought we were cooler than that, man. I did have a good time seeing him in person. Good young man, good head on his shoulders there. So, just Puerto Rico's a little too far, man. It's a little too far. But if you're ever back in the neighborhood, man, let me know. Let's see. How can, gray market here, like gray market watch dealer, we should talk. How can we keep attempting to open accounts given early warning systems and check systems without clearing them first? Wouldn't that prompt a denial for sure? You just keep shooting, man. Like, that's the answer. Shoot or shoot. That's what we say on the show. So you could take a pause and see what falls off of your checks report, or, they stay on your checks report for quite some time. It's like 5 or 7 years, but banks only look so far back. The problem I've always said is we don't know how far back each individual bank looks. So it's not like 524 or like Bank of America's 3 and 12 or 7 and 12 rule. Well, I know and I can count. So I've always felt the opportunity cost of sitting out is greater than just some continued denials, right? Especially because you could sit out, but then are you going to pace yourself when you get back into the game? Or what's that pace? Because you just end up in the same spot effectively again. So what I have seen people do, to your point, is they've set dollar amounts. If it's less than $100, less than $200, I'm not going to bother. Me, I'm a degenerate, so I don't care. I will do all the ones that I can. But it's partly for show because I'm on the internet talking about this, playing a character. But still, that's why I keep going. It does get harder. I'm down to opening maybe 2 accounts a month. In a good month, October was a really good month. I think I had 4 or 5. But I don't even keep track of the denials. But yeah, so that's how you keep going. You just keep keep shooting, because not every bank cares about it. When you run into a wall, you can always apply in branch. I've been getting denied a little bit more in branch, but not everyone denies in branch, so you can do that still. And then we've also, remember, neo fintech banks usually don't care about this stuff. And then crypto. We have brought in crypto offers. OKX is one that we're doing right now on profitablecontent.com. I don't love crypto offers, but I've done a few. Kraken, you can still convert the money to real people money and get it out. And those guys generally don't care. They are much more on the ball on like referral program shenanigans and stuff like that. But you incorporate those as well, and incorporate other offers here and there as well, different types of offers. So don't let it deter you. But, everyone's checks and early warning system is kind of like a personal decision for me. I just don't let it bother me. But, if it does bother you, I totally understand. Last up, Jack Paulson, are the Lions going to the Super Bowl this year? My dad is a huge Lions fan. He doesn't watch the show. I don't know if he watches YouTube at all. But for him, I'll say this could very well be it. I watch the games now because I have YouTube TV from a friend of the show who put me on their family plan. So I see some of the games. He doesn't live in my state, so a lot of times I see like his local market. But I do see some of the games now. They look pretty good. I mean, for a team that's lost some of their their two coordinators. But the other thing about the league is like I don't think there's one single team that's like overly dominant. So yeah, I'd say the Lions are definitely in it. They're gonna be top 4, top 5 team in the league, I would say, for sure. So yeah, I think they definitely could make it. The thing that, from what I understand, is we have a lot of people banged up on defense, so we're going into a bye week, and this week was a bye week, so we'll have to see, like, if you get enough people back, then yeah, absolutely. I think they can definitely make a run. If you want me to call it, will this be their year? Sure, let's call it for my dad. Yes, Lions go to the Super Bowl. If you're going to go, then you got to go all the way. This could very well be their year where a lot of teams are down, so I'm going to say yes, lock it in now. You heard it here first. I don't know if it was here first, but anyways, yes, we'll go with that. So there you go. Those are all of your questions answered for October. So, of course, we appreciate everyone writing in. If you want more stuff, more questions, more debate down below, just feel free to let me know. Of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com. Just as we said, the channel's blog, always linked down below for you with all those bank promotions we just talked about. So if you want to keep shooting, that is the spot to take your shots at. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one. And, of course, happy Halloween.